seemingly ordinary half dollars that might be hiding in your collection right now. Coins that most Americans have handled without a second thought, but could be worth thousands. While everyone's searching for those Liberty Head nickels or 1909 SVDB pennies, these modern treasures from the 1970s and 80s are flying under the radar. So check those coin jars and collection folders, because today's featured half dollars might just fund your next big purchase. Let's start with the 1983 Kennedy half dollar, a coin that perfectly represents that fascinating intersection of minting error, limited production, and historical significance that drives our collecting passion. The 1983 half dollar emerged during a transitional period for American coinage. By the early 1980s, the Kennedy half dollar was already becoming something of an oddity in American pockets. After the elimination of silver content in 1971, and with the rising popularity of quarters for vending machines, half dollars were increasingly relegated to collector status rather than everyday use. The Philadelphia Mint struck just 34.1 million half dollars in 1983, a modest number compared to the hundreds of millions produced during the 1960s. What makes certain 1983 half dollars truly exceptional, however, isn't their relatively modest mintage, but rather a specific minting error that occurred on a small number of coins. The most valuable 1983 half dollars are those struck without a mint mark. Now, typically, coins without mint marks would be from Philadelphia, as the P mint mark wasn't consistently used until later. But here's where the story gets interesting. All 1983 Kennedy half dollars were supposed to carry a mint mark, either P for Philadelphia or D for Denver. The 1983 no mint mark half dollar resulted from what appears to be a die preparation error. During the production process, the mint mark is added to the working hub before the working dies are created. In this case, a small batch of working dies was created without the mint mark being applied, resulting in coins that left the Philadelphia Mint without their P designation. What makes identifying these coins particularly challenging is their subtlety. You'll need to examine the right side of Kennedy's portrait just above the 8 in the date. Normally, you'd see a small P there, but on these error coins, the space is completely blank. It's not a worn or damaged mint mark, it's completely absent, and that absence can translate to significant value. In circulated condition, these no mint mark 1983 half dollars can fetch between $50 and $200, depending on where. But in uncirculated condition, that's where things get exciting. Mint state examples graded MS 63 have sold for $1,000 to $2,000, while premium examples graded MS 65 or higher have reached $5,000 to $7,500 at major auctions. A particularly pristine specimen graded MS 67 set a record when it sold for just over $12,000 at a heritage auction in 2018. The value variation based on condition is particularly dramatic with these coins. That's because most 1983 half dollars entered circulation before collectors became aware of the error. Finding one in gem uncirculated condition is exceptionally difficult, which drives the premium for high-grade examples. The difference between an MS 63 and an MS 66 can be tens of thousands of dollars, all because of microscopic distinctions in surface preservation. Interestingly, the exact number of 1983 no mint mark half dollars produced remains unknown. Unlike some famous errors where production figures are documented, this mistake wasn't noticed until the coins had already entered circulation. Numismatic experts estimate that perhaps 5,000 to 8,000 examples exist, but that's purely speculative. The mystery surrounding their quantity only adds to their allure. Another fascinating aspect of these coins is their authentication challenge. Because the mint mark's absence is technically a negative characteristic, meaning you're looking for something that's not there, counterfeiting has become a concern. Some unscrupulous individuals have attempted to remove mint marks from regular 1983 P half dollars to create fake errors. Professional grading services use microscopic examination to look for tooling marks or alterations to the surface that would indicate tampering. This is why purchasing authenticated examples from reputable dealers or having your coin professionally graded is essential if you believe you found one. Beyond their monetary value, these coins represent a compelling snapshot of American coinage history. The early 1980s marked a period of transition for the U.S. Mint as production methods modernized and coin usage patterns shifted. Half dollars were increasingly becoming collector items rather than circulation currency, which makes these error coins particularly poignant examples of a denomination in flux. There's a wonderful story about the discovery of these error coins that illustrates how numismatic knowledge spreads. In 1984, a bank teller in Portland, Oregon, who was also a casual coin collector, noticed the missing mint mark while counting half dollars. She set aside several examples and eventually brought them to a local coin shop. The dealer, initially skeptical, purchased them at a modest premium before researching further and realizing their significance. By the time the error became widely known in collecting circles, most examples had already entered circulation, making high-grade specimens exceedingly rare. If you're examining your collection for these valuable coins, don't stop at just checking for the mint mark. The most valuable examples will also display strong strike characteristics, with sharp details in Kennedy's hair and the eagle's feathers on the reverse. The coin's luster, that distinctive cartwheel effect when the coin is tilted under light, should be intact for premium examples. Remember that even with the mint mark error, condition remains paramount in determining value. For collectors, the 1983 no mint mark half dollar represents that perfect storm of numismatic desirability: a documented error, limited quantity, historical significance, and the thrill of the hunt. These coins could genuinely be hiding in collections, inherited jars of change, or even still occasionally found in circulation. Unlike pre-1965 silver half dollars, which were quickly hoarded for their precious metal content, these copper-nickel-clad coins didn't have obvious intrinsic value that would pull them from circulation. What I find particularly compelling about the 1983 no mint mark half is how it represents the democratization of coin collecting. While many valuable numismatic treasures, your $1,804 or your 1913 Liberty head nickels, were either never intended for circulation or were immediately recognized as special and preserved, these 1983 half dollars spent years in pockets and cash registers before their significance was understood. They're the everyman's rare coin, potentially accessible to anyone with the knowledge to identify them. For authentication purposes, comparing a suspected 1983 no mint mark half dollar with a confirmed 1983 P can be instructive. Under magnification, the area where the mint mark should appear will look completely unaltered on the genuine error coin. No sign of tooling, polishing, or metal displacement that would indicate someone removed the mint mark. The surface should show the same die characteristics and texture as the surrounding fields. Now let's shift our attention to another half dollar that might be hiding in plain sight: the 1974 Kennedy half dollar. While it might seem like just another clad coin from the 70s, certain varieties of this issue have become some of the most sought-after modern U.S. coins. The 1974 Kennedy half dollar was minted during a fascinating period in American numismatic history. Just a few years earlier, in 1971, the U.S. Mint had eliminated silver entirely from regular half-dollar production, moving to the copper-nickel-clad composition we still see today. Public use of half dollars was already declining, which is why the 1974 mintage was relatively modest by historical standards, about 126 million from the Philadelphia Mint and 83 million from Denver. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. In 1974, the U.S. Mint produced a special variety of Kennedy half dollars that weren't intended for everyday commerce. These were the 1974 S-proof Kennedy half dollars, struck at the San Francisco Mint specifically for collectors. Approximately 2.6 million of these proof coins were produced, and they were only available through the purchase of official U.S. Mint proof sets. Among these proof issues lurks an extraordinary rarity: the 1974 S double die obverse Kennedy half dollar. This dramatic minting error occurred when the die used to strike the obverse front of the coin received a misaligned second impression during the hubbing process. The result is a coin that shows clear doubling on Kennedy's profile, particularly visible in the letters of Liberty and in the date. To identify this double die variety, you'll want to focus on the word Liberty along the top edge of the coin. Under magnification, you'll see distinct doubling on several letters, with the B and E showing the most dramatic separation. The date also exhibits doubling, particularly in the 4 of 1974. What makes this doubled die so special is the clarity of the doubling effect. It's visible to the naked eye in many cases, unlike some more subtle doubled dies that require significant magnification. The value of these doubled die half dollars is nothing short of astonishing. Even in lower proof grades, PR 63 to PR 65, these coins regularly command $2,000 to $4,000. Premium examples graded PR 67 or higher have sold for $7,000 to $10,000 at major auctions. In 2019, a virtually perfect specimen graded PR 69 Deep Cameo sold for an incredible $16,450 at a specialized auction. That's an impressive return on the original $7 cost of the 1974 proof set. What makes this variety particularly special is its fascinating discovery story. The 1974 S double die wasn't widely recognized until the early 1990s, nearly 2 decades after it was produced. A collector examining proof sets noticed the doubling and brought it to the attention of the numismatic community. By that time, many of the original proof sets had been broken up, with the silver coins removed for their precious metal content, potentially reducing the surviving population of these special half dollars. Numismatic experts estimate that perhaps 10,000 to 15,000 examples exist, but they're scattered among millions of regular 1974 S-proof half dollars and often unrecognized by their owners. This represents a tiny fraction of the 2.6 million proof half dollars minted that year and explains their substantial premium. The story doesn't end there, though. In recent years, collectors have identified a second variety, the 1974 S doubled die reverse, showing doubling on the eagle side of the coin. While not as dramatic or valuable as the obverse variety, these can still command $500 to $1,500 depending on condition and the strength of the doubling. But the most exciting aspect of the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar story involves something that wasn't supposed to exist at all, the 1974 aluminum Kennedy half-dollar. In the early 1970s, as rising copper prices threatened the viability of the cent, the U.S. Mint experimented with alternative metals, primarily aluminum. While the aluminum cent trials are relatively well documented, with a few specimens known to exist, the Mint also apparently struck a small number of experimental aluminum half dollars. These coins were never officially released, and the U.S. government maintains that all specimens should have been destroyed. Nevertheless, rumors persist that a handful may have escaped destruction. No aluminum 1974 Kennedy half dollar has ever been officially authenticated or sold at auction, but the possibility of their existence creates one of modern numismatics' most tantalizing mysteries. If one were ever confirmed and legally cleared for private ownership, experts suggest it could easily command 6 or 7 figures. Back to the confirmed and collectible 1974 S double die. What makes identifying these coins particularly challenging is the need to distinguish genuine double dies from more common machine doubling or strike doubling. True double dies show doubling that exactly replicates the design, just slightly offset, while machine doubling often shows distorted or squished doubling. Professional grading services have become essential in authenticating these valuable varieties. For collectors, the condition spectrum of these coins presents interesting considerations. Unlike the 1983 No Mint Mark half dollar, which entered circulation and thus exists in a wide range of conditions, the 1974 S double die was only produced as a proof coin. This means even the worst examples still have mirror-like fields and frosted devices. The value variation comes from factors like the presence of hairlines, fingerprints, spotting, or toning. The most valuable examples maintain perfect mirror fields with absolutely no imperfections and deep contrast between the frosted devices and mirror fields, what numismatists call deep cameo or ultra cameo contrast. One fascinating aspect of collecting the 1974 S double die is that most examples remain in their original government packaging. Finding one still nestled in its original proof set, untouched since 1974, adds a premium to the already valuable coin. Some collectors even seek complete sets with the double die half dollar, keeping all 5 proof coins together as they were originally issued. The legacy of the 1974 Kennedy half dollar extends beyond its double-die varieties. This was one of the last years when half dollars maintained some presence in everyday commerce, before being relegated almost exclusively to collectors' cabinets and casino tables. The 1974 issues represent a pivotal moment in American coinage, the full transition from the silver era to our modern clad coinage system. For those searching their collections, the 1974 half dollars require careful examination. Remember that all valuable double dies will be proof coins with the mint mark, not regular business strikes. Under good lighting and with at least 5x magnification, examine the word Liberty for clear, distinct doubling. The difference between a regular proof worth $5 to $10 and a double die worth thousands is literally hiding in plain sight. What captivates me about both the 1983 no mint mark and the 1974 double die half dollars is how they represent the ongoing evolution of coin collecting. While traditional collectors might focus exclusively on classic rarities from the 19th and early 20th centuries, these modern treasures remind us that history and valuable numismatic artifacts continue to be created in our lifetime. They connect the rich tradition of error collecting to contemporary coinage, making the hobby accessible to collectors of all ages and budgets. Check those coin folders, dust off those proof sets, and examine those family collections. You might just discover that you've been sitting on thousands of dollars without even knowing it. And whether you find a rare variety or not, the thrill of the hunt and connection to American history make every search worthwhile. Until next time, happy collecting. And remember, in the world of coins, it's often the overlooked details that make all the difference.